tonight on First at 9 this Tuesday, the 30th of December 2025. Mission accomplished. Government has successfully achieved revenue targets, ensuring economic stability and strengthening disaster response capability, asserts the President. Year-end traffic. Special traffic and security plan effective in Colombo tomorrow as police brace for year-end congestion. Aid approved. 25,000 rupee compensation package disbursed to 87% of families affected by Cyclone Ditwa, Defence Ministry reveals. Asset probe. Bribery Commission launches investigations into alleged illegal assets of 6 government ministers.
Kalin baby so rupial 90කට. Kalin baby podi හැමෝටමයි.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Sri Lanka's premium news provider, Derana News Channel. I'm Taridu Mahendra joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. We begin with your top story this evening. A special traffic plan and security measures will be effective tomorrow within Colombo city limits in view of year-end festivities as the new year approaches. Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of traffic management and road safety, WPJ Senadira, warns of strict legal action against motorists found in violation of traffic regulations.
Sri Lankans across the island are preparing to welcome 2026 with pomp and circumstance, bidding farewell to yet another year around the sun. As the new year approaches, people are flocking to major cities to shop for essentials such as clothing. Major shopping hub Peta was crowded with shoppers today. In this context, Sri Lanka Police expects traffic congestion in several areas, including Colombo Fort, Golf Face Green, Maradana, Kompanya Vidya, Kulupitiya, Bambalapitiya and Cinnamon Gardens tomorrow, the 31st of December. A special traffic plan will be effective in these areas tomorrow, but only during heavy congestion. Thereby, vehicles exiting Colombo via the Galle Middle Road will be directed to proceed through the NSA roundabout. Along the Golf Face Road, make a left at the Baladaksha Junction and proceed to Kulupitiya through the Alianan roundabout, Makanmaka Mawatha and finally through the Golf Face roundabout. Vehicles entering Colombo from Golf Face Road via the Golf Face roundabout may proceed up to the Baladaksha Mawatha Junction and continue onward. Vehicular traffic will not be permitted from the Golf Face roundabout to Alianan roundabout via Makanmaka Road or from the Alianan roundabout to Golf Face Road via Baladaksha Mawatha. Meanwhile, all vehicles coming from the byroads of Baladaksha Mawatha can turn right and exit Colombo via Alianan roundabout, while all vehicles entering Golf Face Road from the byroads should turn right and proceed towards NSA roundabout. Police notes that when the aforementioned traffic plan is effective, no vehicle will be allowed to park on sidewalks or in a manner obstructing main roads within the Colombo city limits. Police warns of strict legal action against drivers found in violation of traffic regulations.
Some drive recklessly at high speeds, disregarding traffic regulations. Such drivers cause accidents which often end with the loss of lives. It is impossible to label such road accidents as unintentional. Therefore, in future, a strategic plan will be implemented to prosecute drivers willfully violating traffic regulations under criminal law in addition to traffic laws.
The 30% discount on Apico Farm and Spring mattresses available at Apico Supercenter and Apico Daily.
President Anura Disanayake says the government has successfully achieved revenue goals and ensured Sri Lanka's economic stability. Speaking at a discussion at Sri Lanka Customs today, the President claimed that this stability has strengthened Sri Lanka's ability to face the recent disaster situation.
President Anura Disanayake visited Sri Lanka Customs this morning to assess the department's performance and review strategic plans for 2026. During discussions with senior officials, the President stressed the importance of continuing customs operations in a manner that is both efficient and transparent. He noted that the current government has been successful in ensuring economic stability by meeting anticipated revenue targets. The President highlighted the critical role of airport-related services in safeguarding national stability, particularly at a time when various strategies and plans aimed at creating instability continue to emerge. He emphasized the need for customs to remain resilient in the face of future challenges while upholding its responsibility towards the protection and continuity of the state.
In December, the government set a revised revenue target of 2.231 trillion rupees. As of yesterday, we have collected 2.51 trillion in revenue. Sri Lanka Customs exceeded expected revenue. This is the highest ever annual revenue in the history of Sri Lanka Customs.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Finance commented on Sri Lanka's economic progress achieved during 2025.
The year 2025 will be recorded in history as one in which the revenue target was surpassed. Moreover, 2025 is also the year in which Sri Lanka recorded the highest official foreign reserves, reaching $7.179 billion by the end of November. Export earnings, which were projected at $18 billion, have so far reached $15.8 billion. NPP chairman of the Ganga Ihala Korale Pradesh Sabha Indekupul Gunasekara was released on bail today after being produced before the Walpola Magistrates Court. Gunasekara surrendered to Walpola police earlier this morning in connection with an alleged assault on a youth and was subsequently presented before the court, which granted him bail pending further proceedings.
A youth from Kurunduwatta, Ambalapitiya was admitted to the Walpola base hospital after alleging that he was assaulted by the chairman of the Ganga Ihala Korale Pradeshya Sabha Indekupul Gunasekara. According to the complaint, the alleged assault occurred on the night of the 28th while the youth was returning home after closing his business for the night. Investigations into the incident are ongoing. The youth has also lodged a formal complaint with Kurunduwatta police in Walpola regarding the alleged assault. However, during a press briefing yesterday, the NPP chairman of the Ganga Ihala Korale Pradeshya Sabha Indekupul Gunasekara denied the allegations. Nevertheless, the chairman surrendered to the Kurunduwatta police in Walpola this morning in connection over the alleged assault. He was subsequently produced before the Walpola Magistrates Court, where the magistrate ordered his release on a surety of 300,000 rupees pending further investigations. Meanwhile, Morato Municipal Councillor Sujit Pushpakumara filed a complaint with the Bribery Commission against NPP Morato Mayor Nishantha Ferdinando. Councillor Sujit Pushpakumara stated that the complaint pertains to the returfing of the De Soisa International Cricket Stadium, deviating from established procurement procedures. The complaint further accuses the mayor of involvement in the suspension of the trust fund for shop owners at the Katubadda shopping complex, which resulted in a loss of 2.5 million for the Horana Municipal Council. Meanwhile, Secretary of the Matugama Pradeshya Sabha, Nelu Nishanti Iddagoda, filed a complaint with Matugama police this morning, accusing the SJB chairman of the Pradeshya Sabha, Kasun Munasinghe, of threatening her. The complainant was subsequently admitted to the Vattava hospital in Matugama. However, Chairman Munasinghe denies all allegations. Later in the afternoon, 3 police teams arrived at the Pradeshya Sabha chambers to arrest the chairman, but he had already left the premises.
The 30% discount on Apico Form and Spring mattresses available at Apico Supercenter and Apico Daily.
වසරකට ළමුන් 22000කගේ පාසල් ගමන මග නවතිනවා.
එවන් දරුවන් නැවත පාසල් යවන්න අභ්‍යාස පොත් පරිත්‍යාග කරන්න. සෑම පොතකටම ඇට්ලස් පොතක් අපෙන්.
Meanwhile, a tense situation unfolded at today's general meeting of the Galle Municipal Council as opposition councillors staged a protest against the council secretary and officials at the start of the session. Meanwhile, the inaugural budget of the Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Municipal Council was passed without the participation of opposition councillors.
The Galle Municipal Council convened for a special general meeting today, during which a tense situation unfolded. The unrest arose when opposition councillors protested the council secretary and officials shortly after the mayor declared the meeting open. The protests stemmed from a dispute that had erupted during yesterday's budget vote. As the mayor continued with the agenda and proceeded to announce committee meetings, opposition councillors reportedly hurled water bottles toward the secretariat. With the situation escalating and becoming increasingly difficult to control, the mayor adjourned the meeting for 30 minutes. Opposition councillors were later seen displaying continued agitation within the premises. Meanwhile, councillors of the joint opposition group of the Horana Municipal Council, along with their supporters, staged a protest in front of the council premises today. The protest followed issues that arose during the second reading of the council's budget. Subsequently, the group entered the council chamber wearing black armbands as a mark of protest. Meanwhile, the inaugural budget session of the Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Municipal Council was held today, during which 23 opposition councillors staged a walkout, alleging that the budget has not been presented in accordance with the relevant legal provisions. Despite the walkout, the budget was passed without the participation of opposition councillors, including the 29 members representing the National People's Power and an independent councillor.
Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says the government will take a decision on convening an international donor conference after a comprehensive assessment of the total foreign assistance received in the wake of Cyclone Ditwa. He made this statement during the cabinet briefing today.
දිට්වා සුලිකුණාටුවත් එක්ක වෙච්ච හානිය තක්සේරු කළා ලෝක බැංකුව කියන 4.1ක් කියලා 1 බිලියන. ඒතකොට අපිට මේ වෙනකොට ලැබිලා තින්නේ ඔක්කොම ගත්තොත් 650ක් 660ක් විතර වගේ තමයි අපිට ඒක එකතු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපි කොහොමද මේ ඉතිරිය පූර්ණේ කරගන්නේ?
සමස්ත හානිය ගොඩේමේදී විදේශීය රටවල ආධාර.
As we recover from this disaster, we anticipate additional foreign assistance packages, some of which are yet to be received. At the same time, both local businesses and the general public are playing a significant role in supporting the recovery process.
අතරම ජනතාව සහ ජාත්‍යන්තර ප්‍රජාව අපිට උදව් කරමින් ඉන්නවා.
පොළුවක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවද එවැනි අදහසක් තිබුණා?
At present, no discussions have taken place on calling such a conference. Decisions on this matter will be taken after a comprehensive assessment of the total foreign assistance received.
හෙට පැවැත්වෙනවා කොළඹ මහනගර සභාවේ දෙවන ඡන්දය. ඔබතුමාලා පළවෙනි ඡන්දයේදී ආණ්ඩුව පරාජය වෙනවා ඒකාබද්ධී පක්ෂය ජයග්‍රහණය කරනවා. දැන් හෙට ඉදිරිපත් කරන අයවැයත් ඒ අයවැයමද?
මම හිතන්නේ නැහැ. අයවැයේ තිබෙන දේවල් වලට ඒ අය විරුද්ධ.
I do not believe there is any fundamental opposition to the proposals contained in the budget. It is possible that the earlier rejection stemmed from decisions taken by respective political parties rather than objections to the content itself. We respectfully urge those who voted against the budget previously to reconsider its provisions and cast their votes accordingly. Progress can only be achieved if the budget is approved without political maneuvering.
දැන් මේ පාසල් අරින්න ඇමතුතුමා එකමාරටද දෙකටද? දැන් ජනවාරි 5 ඉස්කෝල පටන් ගන්නවා.
මේ තියෙන තත්ත්වය මත මම හිතනවා.
No discussions have taken place on this matter so far, and I believe no hasty decisions will be made. At present, a large number of children are affected by the recent disaster, with their belongings either destroyed or damaged. In addition, school infrastructure has suffered damage and several schools are currently being used as safety centers. Any decisions regarding extended school hours will be taken at a later stage following consultations with relevant authorities.
කරාවේ සියලු දෙනාගේ අදහස් සැලකිලිට ගත්තට පස්සේ.
Meanwhile, the government announced plans to expand financial support for disaster-stricken micro, small and medium-scale entrepreneurs with the introduction of a new comprehensive disaster relief loan scheme. With that, here's more on this and other key decisions taken during this week's cabinet meeting.
The government is set to liquidate the Sahasya Investment Company, an entity established to maintain highways and expressways. The network of expressways, associated lands and other relevant activities are now expected to be managed through a separate operational unit under the Road Development Authority. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the establishment of the Sri Lanka Industrial Transformation and Innovation Authority by merging the Industrial Development Board, the National Entrepreneurship Development Authority and Small Business Development Division of the Ministry of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development. The authority is expected to minimize duplication of work, strengthen the provision of institutional services and build a national integrated platform for industrial transformation, entrepreneurship promotion and export-oriented enterprise development under a three-phase framework of conceptualization, strategic planning and implementation. Technological assistance is to be obtained through an Asian Development Bank policy-based loan program. In a bid to expand support for the entrepreneurs affected by the recent adverse weather, the Cabinet of Ministers approved the introduction of the new Comprehensive Disaster Relief Loan Scheme. 5 billion rupees will be allocated for the initiative, which is expected to provide concessionary loan facilities to MSMEs affected by Cyclone Ditwa.
A delegation from the International Monetary Fund is scheduled to visit Sri Lanka during the first half of next year. The fifth review of the IMF's extended fund facility is scheduled to be discussed during the visit. The IMF stated that the mission will resume discussions on how the program can best support recovery and reconstruction efforts while preserving the objectives and policy priorities that have underpinned the recent progress. The IMF Executive Board was initially scheduled to meet on the 15th of December to potentially approve the disbursement of the sixth tranche under the EFF, but the meeting was postponed following a request by Sri Lanka for rapid financing. Welcome back to First at 9. Farmers across the country raised concerns over the government's failure to disperse compensation for farmland damaged by Cyclone Ditwa. Farmers emphasize that prompt government intervention is essential to resume cultivation without further delay. Meanwhile, farmers in Polonnaru alleged that they are yet to receive the second installment of the fertilizer subsidy despite more than a month having passed since paddy cultivation began for the Maha season. They also pointed out that compensation promised for lands damaged by Cyclone Ditwa are yet to be credited to their accounts. These developments unfold against a backdrop of warnings from small and medium-scale rice mill owners who caution that delays in compensation and failure to resume cultivation promptly could trigger a potential rice shortage. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa announces that Samagi Jana Balawege will form a legal team to seek justice for victims of Cyclone Ditwa who are yet to receive the support promised by the government. He made this statement during a program in Rajangana.
Under the leadership of opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, the SJB, whose initiative donated medical equipment worth 2.8 million rupees to the Rajangana Track 11 Regional Hospital.
Both during and after the cyclone, the government and the president made numerous promises to affected communities. However, when we walk through these villages, we hear that the government has failed to deliver the promised financial assistance. The government, which promised 1 million rupees even for the loss of a single roofing sheet, has failed to even grant the 5 million rupee compensation for fully destroyed houses or provide alternative land for residents of areas unfit for habitation. We request the government not to toy with the lives of people affected by the cyclone. We stand by the victims until they receive all the support they were promised. We are forming a legal team to protect the rights of these victims. These are the fundamental rights of the victims. Violating them is a violation of human rights. The National Dangerous Drugs Control Board reports a sharp rise in the use of crystal methamphetamine across the country. During a government media conference, the board said more than 60,000 individuals addicted to the drug have been arrested during the first 10 months of this year alone. We have identified an increase in both the use of crystal methamphetamine and the number of people addicted to it. The drug has spread widely, particularly in the Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Galle and Kandy districts. Around 61,000 individuals were arrested as of October in connection with methamphetamine-related cases. In 2023 and 24, the highest number of imprisonments were for heroin-related offences, with methamphetamine-related offences ranking second. For a long time, we believed that drug addiction mainly affected the poor and uneducated. However, recent observations show that this is no longer the case. Our data indicates that highly educated individuals, people with stable jobs and even university students are also involved. Drug use spans all income levels, affecting both low-income earners and those with very high incomes. We have identified children and young people between the ages of 12 and 21 involved in these activities, showing that age is not a limiting factor. Overall, individuals aged between 12 and 64 are affected, with research data showing that those aged 20 to 30 are the most engaged in drug use. Following a formal complaint by the Citizens Power against Corruption and Waste, the Bribery Commission has initiated an investigation into alleged illegal assets of 6 ministers of the National People's Power government. The complaint, which was lodged in September this year, called on the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption to launch an investigation under the Money Laundering Act. Accordingly, the Bribery Commission initiated an investigation against Ministers Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, Bimal Ratnayaka, Wasantha Samarasinghe, Kumara Jayakodi, Sunil Hadunetti and Deputy Ministers Sunil Watagala. Meanwhile, a son of former Minister Johnston Fernando, Johan Fernando, was arrested by the Financial Crimes Investigation Division today. Police confirmed the arrest follows investigations into several allegations, including the alleged misappropriation of a lorry belonging to Lanka Satosa and other vehicles. Investigations also revealed irregularities and misuse related to the collection of salaries and allowances. A large number of artists, political figures and members of the public are arriving to pay their final respects to the late Sri Lankan music icon Latha Walpola. Her mortal remains currently lie in state in Boralla, with funeral rites scheduled to be held tomorrow with full state honours.
The remains of the late Sri Lankan music icon Latha Walpola, popularly known as the Nightingale of Sri Lankan music, lie in state at a private funeral parlour in Boralla. Large crowds including artists, politicians, religious leaders and the general public gathered to pay their final respect to the late icon.
ගායිකාවන්ට මල් මාවතක් සකස් කරලා දුන්නේ ලතා වල්පොල නැමැති ගායිකාව.
ඇය ගායනා කරපු ගීත සංරක්ෂණය කරලා ඊළඟ පරම්පරාවට ඒ දායාද කිරීමම ඇයව නැවතත් ජීවත් කරවීමේ කාර්යය හැටියටයි සැලකන්නේ.
President Anura Disanayaka arrived to pay his final respects to late Latha Walpola. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa also paid his final respects.
අම්මා කෙනෙක් වගේ මේක සැලකුවේ විශේෂයෙන්ම සංගීත ශාස්ත්‍රයේ මටත් බොහෝ විට අවවාද උපදෙස් ලබා දීලා හැම විටම අපේ කුසලතාවයත් වැඩි දියුණු කරන්නට දුමිය කටයුතු කරා.
Leader of Sarvajana Balaya MP Dilip Jayavira also arrived to honour her legacy.
Had she been born in India, her opportunities might have been even broader. Nevertheless, it is widely acknowledged that she achieved all that one could aspire to in her lifetime. Her presence and influence will remain eternally etched in the hearts of the people.
The final rites of the late Latha Walpola will be performed tomorrow, the 31st of December, at Independence Square in Colombo with full state patronage.
The Derana relief operation for communities affected by severe weather continues to make a positive impact. Today, school supplies were distributed to students of several schools in the Walpola area of Nuwara, which was heavily damaged by Cyclone Detwa. Bringing hope to these young learners, Vice President of the Interfaith Conference of Singapore, Venerable Karadetiana Gunaratana Thera, partnered with Derana to deliver the supplies. The initiative was carried out with the support of the Nuwara District Secretariat, ensuring that the children receive the resources needed to continue their education. Welcome back. Now, the Minister of Defence reveals that over 87% of families affected by Cyclone Detwa who were eligible for the 25,000 rupee allowance have already received their payments. The ministry further indicated that it expects to complete the remaining payments by the end of the year.
The Ministry of Defence reveals that 87.4% of the 450,225 eligible families have received the 25,000 rupee compensation package to cover loss and damage caused by Cyclone Ditwa. In addition, 8.63% of the 153,593 families entitled to receive the 50,000 rupee allowance have also been compensated. The ministry further notes that the payments of 15,000 rupees have been disbursed to 14.9% of the 216,142 school children impacted by Cyclone Ditwa.
The government will pay compensation of 2.5 million rupees for those with partially damaged residences. A payment 500,000 rupees is provided initially without a damage assessment. If someone estimates the damage caused to a residence to be under 500,000 rupees, they can still claim this 500,000 rupee compensation package. This allowance is provided in two phases. If a residence has suffered damage worth more than 500,000 rupees, they can have the damage professionally assessed and then claim the 2.5 million rupee compensation package. No, government officials will conduct the damage assessment. An allowance of 5 million rupees will be provided to completely destroyed residences. Another 5 million rupees will be used to cover damage caused to land rendering uninhabitable. We have identified 7,003 residences which were completely destroyed. Around 10,000 lands might have been damaged. Finalizing this tally will take some time. The National Building Research Organization is still taking stock of the damage caused. We expect to conclude the compensation process of the 25,000 rupee allowance, the 50,000 rupee allowance, the allowance provided to school children and rent-related allowances by the 31st. We are also trying to settle the 25,000 rupee allowances provided to families with less than 2 members whose livelihoods were brought to a standstill, and the same allowance of 50,000 rupees to families with more than 2 members also by the 31st of December. The 5 million rupee and 10 million rupee allowances will be provided at once if the beneficiary is planning on purchasing a house. If the beneficiary wishes to build a house, the allowance will be provided in 4 stages. The stages will be broken down as payment for the foundation, payment to set up walls stretching up to the roof, funding to put up the roof, and the final payment to finish up construction. This process will begin next year. 26,670 persons of 9,651 families are still sheltered at safety centers. All of the displaced will be provided with relevant allowances. Compensation for rent will be provided even if affected individuals are residing at residences of relatives post-disaster.
That's all for tonight from First at 9. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.